We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some major news regarding Roman Reigns and his status in the company following last night's WrestleMania Backlash 2022 Premium Live event. Now, there has been quite a few rumors going around recently that Roman Reigns may have been looking to leave WWE in the near future, to likely pursue a new career in Hollywood, with Reigns adding a lot of fuel to those rumors and speculation with a promo he gave fans at a recent live event in New Jersey, which basically confirmed that Roman Reigns is transitioning into a new phase of his career soon. However, for the fans who were worried that Roman Reigns could be leaving WWE in the near future, that thankfully does not seem to be the case according to new backstage reports. One of our sources has revealed just today that Roman Reigns has reportedly signed a new deal with WWE, a deal that will see Roman Reigns essentially become a part-timer for the company moving forward, with Reigns expected to work less often in WWE than he has been over the last few years, meaning that Roman Reigns is transitioning out of being a full-time superstar for WWE. And this is likely what Reigns was referring to when he addressed the live event crowd in New Jersey, that he may not be back there again, because if Roman Reigns is going to be working with WWE on a more part-time basis moving forward, Reigns probably won't be working nearly as many live events, and mostly just SmackDown and pay-per-view events. In all honesty, it was just a matter of time before Roman Reigns would transition out of his full-time schedule with WWE and take on more of a part-time schedule, and this is likely because Roman intends to pursue a career in acting while continuing to work for WWE part-time. And considering it was also recently revealed by WWE President Nick Khan that they have big plans for Roman Reigns in Hollywood and to help Roman Reigns cross over, clearly WWE are far from being against Roman Reigns becoming a big crossover star and doing some movies while still remaining a WWE superstar. So for the time being, it appears as though Roman Reigns is not going anywhere anytime soon, and will continue to work with WWE for the immediate future. But his schedule is going to be getting much lighter than it has been, with it being transitioned into a part-time schedule, which again really is not that surprising at this stage of Roman Reigns' career. Regardless, this is good news for the fans who were worried that Roman Reigns was going to be flat out walking away from WWE and leaving wrestling completely behind, because if that was the case, WWE would be in a really bad spot as they don't have another full-time superstar on their roster who could really replace Roman Reigns as a top flagship star in the company at this point, although some fans have mentioned Drew McIntyre or Theory as possible replacements for Reigns, but Roman leaving WWE completely would just be bad news at this point. So it is definitely going to be a relief for many fans that Reigns is still going to be in WWE for the foreseeable future, although again on a part-time basis. Now, quite interestingly, the Fiend Bray Wyatt was trending big time on social media during the WrestleMania Backlash 2022 Premium Live event, because during the scheduled Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair SmackDown Women's Championship match, a fan was shown dressed as the Fiend in the front row, and quite bizarrely, SmackDown commentator Pat McAfee actually pointed out this fan dressed as the Fiend Bray Wyatt, and said this, "Is that the Fiend in the front row?" Which not surprisingly garnered a huge reaction from fans across social media, because usually, when a WWE superstar is unceremoniously released like the Fiend Bray Wyatt was, these ex-WWE stars are never mentioned on live television, and for Pat McAfee to acknowledge a fan dressed up as the Fiend was quite interesting to say the least, with some fans speculating that perhaps Bray Wyatt isn't completely done in WWE just yet. However, in all likelihood, this was likely just a bit of a funny slip-up by Pat McAfee, and that Pat mentioning this fan dressed up as the Fiend was something that was not planned to be said, but he just reacted in the moment and mentioned it, because none of the other commentators said anything about it after Pat talked about this fan dressed as the Fiend. So it likely was just a pretty funny mistake, and let's hope Pat McAfee doesn't get in too much trouble behind the scenes with Vince McMahon for likely slipping up and mentioning a fired WWE superstar live on pay-per-view. We now have some huge news regarding Charlotte Flair following WrestleMania Backlash last night. In one of the biggest moments of the entire WrestleMania Backlash show yesterday, Charlotte Flair ended up losing her SmackDown Women's Championship to Ronda Rousey in their big I Quit match, and by all means this was a pretty predictable match outcome. as most fans were under the belief that this match stipulation was heavily in favor of Ronda Rousey over Charlotte Flair. So the rumors of Ronda Rousey leaving WWE shortly following WrestleMania 38 are far from being true, and she's now the new SmackDown Women's Champion. And quite interestingly, it's actually Charlotte Flair who's going to be leaving WWE immediately after the WrestleMania Backlash show. According to a new behind-the-scenes rumor, Charlotte Flair's supposed injury that she had sustained following her I Quit match against Ronda Rousey wasn't real, and was in fact kayfabe, with WWE effectively writing Charlotte Flair off of television following the match last night, with Charlotte Flair reportedly being granted some time off from WWE. And as of right now, there's no word on exactly how long Charlotte is going to be gone from WWE, but she's clearly been written off of the big storylines on Friday Night SmackDown moving forward, which does mean Charlotte may be away for a considerable amount of time, with Ronda Rousey now taking over as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Now, there is speculation going around right now that a major reason for Charlotte Flair taking some time off from WWE is because she wants to get married to her fiancé Andrade, although that is just speculation right now, and we don't have any concrete proof as to why Charlotte's been written off of television and left WWE following WrestleMania Backlash. Whether you're a fan of Charlotte Flair or not, she definitely does deserve a break, and there's no doubt that Ronda Rousey will keep things moving and interesting on the blue brand as the SmackDown Women's Champion while Charlotte's away. As far as when fans can expect to see Charlotte Flair back in WWE, one of our sources has reported that at this point, SummerSlam 2022 looks to be a realistic timetable for when Charlotte will be back from this break from WWE, which is good news. A lot of fans are wondering what's next for Cody Rhodes following his second win over Seth Rollins at WrestleMania Backlash last night, and we definitely have some news to share regarding the WWE's plans for Cody Rhodes. Now, it was revealed earlier today that Cody Rhodes would be challenging Theory for the United States Championship on Raw tonight, and according to a new backstage report, while Vince McMahon reportedly feels like Cody Rhodes has what it takes this time around to be a main event caliber superstar, and a guy that can easily be pushed as a future WWE or Universal Champion, apparently Vince doesn't want to rush Cody Rhodes' push too quickly, especially with Roman Reigns currently holding both the company's main roster world titles, and instead wants to gradually push Cody Rhodes up the card and have his rise appear more natural than just immediately going after the World Championship. Now, the fact that Cody Rhodes is even involved in any way with the US Championship has not surprisingly got some fans worried that Cody Rhodes may already be getting pushed to the sidelines. But that is thankfully not the case, and Cody Rhodes' push is just getting started, although it may not be as quick as some fans would have hoped for.